like a great idea.
Right, right.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll give, like, I don't see anybody else in participants waiting to be let in. So we'll just
Okay.
see, we'll just kind of run with it. So from the dinner, the presentation you did, how has that impacted your business?
Um, I mean, nothing significant that I know of as of yet, but I do like one of the participants I know like shared on his, I don't know, reel or story or whatever. Um he shared like my picture and my business and said something about it about a week or two after that, which I thought was really cool. Like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, just because you won doesn't mean that you just disappear. And
right,
yeah, so he, and I don't know if he did that with the other businesses or not. I hope he did.
you're right.
But that felt really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And but so I don't know if there's like direct impact from it, but I think getting ready for it really, I had to sit down and really think about why was I doing this? What
Right.
was, what's the point? Why am I trying to get people to make jewelry? Why is that part still inside of my brain? And so getting ready for that, I think, was the powerful part for me.
Yeah.
Just kind of organizing my thoughts into that. So it was I felt it was very worthwhile
Hmm.
um, for that
So
for that
did
end
they
of
give
it.
you a copy of the recording? Because they recorded you.
Um, I don't. So I don't think so. I haven't asked for it,
Okay.
but yeah, I guess now that you asked me that question, um, would that be something then that if I get a recording of that where I could just put that in my own stuff
Oh
and
yeah.
put that
So
out there?
that's what I was thinking is because you spoke, what was it, 6 minutes? What was your time limit?
Yeah, it was about, yeah, 5 to 6 minutes. Yep.
So realistically, you could take it and break it down into like 5 snippets and
Okay.
make 5 different like 60 minute or 60 minute, 60-second reels,
Uh-huh.
or like a 2 minute reel where you're doing like a 30-second introduction, you have the minute snippet and then a 30-second like kind of recap, their call to action, and
Okay.
or the takeaway that you got or something. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like that's really kind of raw footage that
Right.
you can leverage it on your website. You can do it, you can have it on all your social media. You can share it as a story, share it as a static post, put it into a carousel, like screenshots of it into a carousel, and then for reels, right? And kind of
Okay.
do like a mashup with it.
Yeah, what one thing I had thought of doing, which I never did, it was a thought that didn't come out of my head, but I mean, I wrote a script for myself of what I wanted to say, and I thought, I really should just make my own recording of what I wanted to say and just
Yeah,
put that out there. But of course, I haven't followed through.
right,
On sometimes I feel like I have really great ideas, but I don't always act on them or
right.
follow up on them. Just
Yeah.
I think because there's just so much. There's just so much.
Well, and that was, because what got me thinking is I've started taking like all of the live trainings that I've done and I'm putting them in the replay vault here in the community on the Village platform.
Mhm.
But I'm taking like 2 minute segments and I'm putting them into a template that I kind of created and I'm sharing those as reels. And then on my phone, I do an audio recording of
Okay.
like a 30-second intro going, hey, have you thought about your brand principles? Because we're going to drop in and listen into the latest live training that I did or Karen did, right?
Hmm.
And then I put in the 60, 90-second clip, and then I record an outro. So what did you think? Did you feel her value? Like, did you like, and I kind of, and then the call to action is come be your neighbor kind of thing, right? You get
Okay.
access to the live trainings when they're live, not just in the replay. Um, and what I realized is with Canva, the
Mhm.
mobile app, when you record with the audio, you can drag and drop it into the Canva mobile site.
Oh,
And then it will automatically, you can then be on Canva on your computer, and it sees it immediately.
I guess I didn't know Canva did like the video stuff.
Yeah, like it's
I've
kind of,
only used it, I used it once to make business cards. That's all I've used it for.
yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Here, I'll actually just actually share my screen to show you. Um, let's see, is it gonna work? Okay, so um, oh, you can select multiple windows now for Zoom. Okay, great. So I just created this template with kind of these pages, right? Kind of this is the intro,
Okay.
and then this is the video, and then the kids understand that. That's because you're not supposed to be listening, Bixby. um, and then all you're doing is, so like this is like the most recent one I did, right? So it's basically 3 slides long. And in the audio, is it gonna let me show me here? Down here. So this is the, so basically you can like drag and drop it and move it around.
Oh, wow.
And so with the uploads, your audio is here. And I just labeled them like for the value one. So the very beginning one, it was the value intro, the value outro, brand story intro. And it's like right 27, 30 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes into the video clip and then the outro. And
Okay.
so like I've saved, so I have like 4 or 5 different versions of the same type of template with different images. And all I'm doing is I'm going to be dropping in the video to replace like this image or something.
Okay.
And so with this template, all of a sudden I'm like going, it takes me likely 30 minutes to create a reel only because I'm figuring out where I'm cutting it. I'm cutting down out of like a 45-minute live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can upload like your video and your audio and drop it in.
Oh. Now, is this with like the paid version of Canva?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my paid version only is like $6 a month.
Okay.
So I had set it up as teams, and you're allowed to have 4 team members, I want to say. Um, yeah, so right now, like I have 3 team members, and one of them happens to be my daughter because she uses it for school.
Hmm.
And it's $6 a month. So I once I hit 5, I think is when I start paying more.
Okay.
But yeah, so for you, it's not like it wouldn't be you wouldn't have to worry about team members, but kind of do the pricing. Like, so what if you don't
Okay.
have any team members, but if it's cheaper than just having the pro version? Because what Canva's hoping is you're going to be expanding, so they're going to charge you less, knowing that if you have 5 or 6 team members come in, now they're going to be making actually more money than if you just did the straight up pro. So kind of
Right.
look at what their plans
Okay.
are and see whatever the cheapest version is. But yeah, like I think I pay $6 a month for it.
Okay. Hmm.
So yeah, so you can be like taking bits and pieces of that video. So with your Zoom, have you can be creating clips as well.
Okay.
So launching the desktop version, you can go in and say record clip,
Okay.
and you can just basically, it's like doing, instead of it on your phone, recording a selfie video, you're recording a
Hmm.
video. So if you want to do like kind of the behind the scenes, It might
Okay.
come up as a
Yeah.
better quality video, maybe that way, but you just have to
Yeah.
see. But
I've messed with, it's been a while, but I've messed with doing some video. Because with the whole COVID and we had to teach online, um, I, during that time, learned how to create videos of all my lessons.
oh,
And so I have a document camera that, that I plan, and I've made one or two like instructional videos, that I did, gosh, probably 6 months ago now. And I don't remember why that's all I've done. I think I got a little frustrated trying to getting good quality here and then also on the camera. So I've worked with it a little bit, but I don't think I did it in Zoom. I think I just did it through, like, the document camera itself will record your voice
yeah,
along with, and so with my instructional videos that I did, I ended up doing probably hundreds of them now. Because then when we went back face to face, I still recorded all of my lessons.
right.
And but those videos are all just what the document camera sees down on the paper. So it really was just my hand doing
Yeah,
math problems,
yeah,
which is perfect for jewelry making.
yeah.
But I was really trying to figure out how to show my face along with that. And I honestly don't remember what I ended up using, because I did make a video or two out of that. But I don't know that I tried doing through Zoom, because I'm assuming through Zoom I can use that document camera as well. I
I would
should
think
be.
so. I think you just choose whatever camera you want, right? Kind of like
Okay.
it defaults to, like mine defaults to
Yeah.
the computer camera. So you might have to change the camera that it's recording through.
Right. Yeah. So that's, definitely something for me to look into.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I think if you can get that presentation video,
Okay.
I think
That's
that
a really
would,
great idea.
yeah, because you can, yeah, you can cut it up into like four different like snippets and just keep repurposing it,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
I never didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So yeah, because that's kind of like that's the prime opportunity where all of a sudden people are going, oh, she's actually presenting. Like it lends to that authority piece too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like, oh, she's actually up for like some grant money. Like she's a serious business. She's not just your run-of-the-mill jewelry maker,
Right, right. I'm
right?
not
And it kind
just
of
the weekend hobby crafter that shows
right.
up with a few things.
Yeah. So because that could be part of your like, what you're talking about too is, you can be saying like one of my brand principles is, right? And
Mm,
then this is how I follow through. This is right. And,
yeah,
kind of thing. And, or, we talk about we're not all the same. We're not the same. Like there's 100 different jewelry makers likely within a dart's throw. And this is how I am different. This is why my jewelry is different. This is why my jewelry kits are different, is because I do more than just the side hustle thing.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of one of your unique selling propositions. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
I think it comes down to timing too, right? Because like I think up until I figured out like the whole like the drag and drop, upload the audio and stuff, that and realize, I have all these trainings. Why am I not using any of them? Right? Like I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. I've spent hours like creating this stuff. How and but now I always put too much work into it before, right? It's like that whole work
Okay.
smarter piece. And I kept thinking, so I'm gonna do this is what I used to do. I would do the live training and then I'd record a 30-second synopsis and then I'd record a 2-minute synopsis of each of the strategies or whatever
Okay.
we covered. And I'm like, so Tuesday, I'm like recording all day. And I keep thinking, why am I doing that? I already have it. Like it didn't dawn on me until
Right.
like last
Just
week.
use, yeah, just using what you already have said. Yeah.
Right? Like instead, it's like, oh, just cut it down, Karen. Like, mhm. Yeah, yeah, work smarter. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so for you, it's like definitely, like I did a workshop at the Brave meeting last week on AI, over at with Annie and Renee
Okay.
over at Live Oak. They do their monthly meetings,
Mm.
and they didn't record it. And I thought about recording it, but and I thought, why are they not recording this? Like, this is like all of it needs to be recorded.
Mm.
So,
Right, right.
mhm. Just because it becomes valuable later on, even if it's not for them, but for the person presenting, or like, to have it in their group to say, hey, if you weren't there at the workshop, here's the replay.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so anytime you're doing type of any group interaction, try and make sure to remember to record it.
Okay.
Even if it's just audio, like even if you have your phone set up where the voice notes, where you can like just kind of have an audio recording happening, even if you get the audio recording,
Okay.
because you can always overlay that onto different imagery. Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm thinking, oh, I could actually start posting on TikTok now that I realize I have all this, all this video. I'm like, oh, okay, don't go there yet, Karen. Really get your timing down.
Right.
Add more to my plate. So, but
Well, I do
yeah.
want to tell you, I really appreciate that you are just putting yourself out there and you're okay with it not being perfect and you're figuring things out as you go and you're willing to try. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
I think that was another draw for me to keep tuning in is just, it doesn't have to be, the final beautiful thing that it may end up being,
Yeah.
just that you're continuously working at trying to improve and working smarter and learning all the time. I
Yeah.
think that's a big draw.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, it's fun. Like I didn't realize I'd have this much fun with
Well,
it.
that's good. That's good.
Right? Yeah. Like, and it's funny because like a year ago, May, when I was starting to think about I need to do live, and I was working with a business coach, and he's like, and it was specifically around the group, and he goes, you need to do a live every week. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about every like, what am I like? Seriously, I've got to be in front of a camera. And he's like, just do it. 5 minutes, doesn't matter. You just got to be in there and sharing. And just people have to get to know you. They have to get to like. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, and that's why I think I said it this week was like, if you look at what it looked like back last June to versus now, like I'm so much more relaxed because now I'm like, oh well, people are going to either accept my mistakes or they're not. And I've
Right.
come to accept my own mistakes better too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
yeah. Then I'm realizing it's not always just me. Sometimes it really is technology.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the things that I think I want to do or think will be helpful, is to do some lives. And I spend a lot of time catching glimpses of other people who are jewelers or beaders or just sell the beads or whatever. I see their lives pop up. And so I'm, definitely drawn to that and trying to figure out, well, what is it that how would I want it to be? But again, I know that consistency is important, and I struggle with that so much. I've struggled with being consistent with everything in my life. I mean, I'm really good at starting something. I'm really great at starting things. And then saying, oh yes, I'm going to do this either every day or every week or yeah, no,
Yeah.
it lasts like twice.
Right.
And then it
Well,
goes out.
so that's something like really, I think just from a forward motion perspective for you to be able to say, like, so are you setting yourself up for success or failure to perpetuate the mindset of I never complete things?
Mm. Hmm.
Right? So when I was saying yesterday about being consistent, like the beautiful thing is you get to set consistency. Like, so set yourself up for success. So if you're consistent once a month for 3 months, you're consistent,
Gotcha.
right? So you
Keep it
could
more
do,
realistic.
yeah, right? So you can do a live, but just say, I'm going to do a live Mondays at 5 p.m. Like, look at your calendar for the next 3 months and say, what day of the week that right now that I have nothing planned at the exact same time on that day of the week. And then just put it in your calendar for like 90 minutes for those 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you finish the third one, then go, okay, so I was successful. So I do show up. I am consistent. Now, what does consistency look like?
Okay.
Right. And so maybe now I could do it every other week instead of just once a month.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm thinking, have always thought consistency means like every day or every week, every
Yeah.
Monday. And I think because there's so much in my day to day now that is not consistent, that I was thinking that that would be an impossible thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I never thought about keeping it so realistic, um, like the once a month thing. Because like I've done a newsletter. I
Yeah.
started a newsletter. I don't remember. It was in this past winter, and I did great for the first two. It was beautiful. And then March hit. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll get to it. Oh man, I didn't get to it. And April comes. Yeah, yeah, no, didn't happen. And then I finally did another one in May.
Yeah.
Um, but so that's just a once a month. But I love the concept of it, and I'm just trying to, like you said, plan for it. And so I'm hoping the Trello connection will help, because I've got it like in my tasks or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now it's not super urgent or super important, but as we get closer to the end of May, that's going to move into my, this is now important and urgent. And if you haven't, if it hasn't moved to the done pile, it's now
Right.
up on the priority list. So I'm hoping that that's going to help.
So monthly newsletters, what's your purpose with your newsletter? What is your goal with the newsletter? So first, who's it going to? Going to your current customers or potential customers?
It's going to, first of all, not enough people, but it's going to people who have shared their email with me when they've purchased something. So, or I've also put it out there on Facebook saying, hey, so it goes out in email. And
Yeah.
so on Facebook, I've said, hey, if you want to get on my email list and receive this in your email, just send me a message.
Right.
So I've got, I don't know, there's not a lot yet, but it's probably like 15. But like this month, I was kind of hoping it would draw a couple in, because so the newsletter goes out in email, but then I also post it on Facebook in my group or on my page, and then also to my personal page.
Okay.
So it's kind of that, but like I put in, because I missed March and April, I said, well, my bad, oops, but here's a coupon code for
Mhm.
$5 off for all of you that, have been on my email list. Here's a coupon code for the next month for $5. And so then on my Facebook, I said something like, hey, people who receive my newsletter by email received a coupon code. Look for details on how you can get in on the next coupon. So I was kind of hoping that that would draw a couple people in, but it hasn't yet. But I'm hopeful. I mean, I
Yeah.
think so. Back to your question on what's my purpose. My my main purpose is to have a place that shows my events
Okay.
in the newsletter. So which craft shows I'm going to, when I'm setting up classes, what nights those are on, because I struggle with the fact that Facebook isn't, at least in my experience, when there's events or somebody posts something on Facebook, sometimes I'm not seeing it until the day of the event or after the event. Like,
Right.
oh, if I would have known this was happening downtown, I might have went to it.
Right.
And so I wanted the newsletter to be at least a consistent place where
Yeah.
people could go to see what's happening, as opposed to waiting for it to show up on Facebook at the
Okay.
wrong time.
So, so, so to communicate, so basically you want to communicate when events are happening and where they can find you in person.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the other purpose is to nurture the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the third purpose would be to solicit people to actually buy from your online store.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So what you may want to do is take a look at those three and see which one do you want to be your number one?
Okay.
Which one is going to, because you're in business to make money, right?
Yes. Yes.
So to make money, people have to buy your product. And they don't have to buy your product in person. They can buy it through your store.
Right.
So you may want to look at saying, you know what, my number one purpose for my newsletter is to nurture and have a call to action for people to purchase.
Okay.
So, because part of your getting excited about sending a newsletter is because you want people to open it and buy something and engage with you, right?
Right.
And when you're thinking, oh, I'm just communicating events, the motivation to send it is going to be lower than, oh, I'm going to share my newest bracelet and see if one of them wants to buy it.
Okay.
Is a lot more exciting.
Gotcha. And I was definitely thinking the opposite, which is not good. I was thinking, I don't want to be that salesy person. So I'm just going to put out this newsletter to get them to remember I exist. And then hopefully they'll buy something. Where switching that idea in my head probably would help.
Because I will
Yeah.
guarantee you 90% of the people that are on your list that have bought from you want to buy again. They just don't know what to buy. And they're waiting
Okay.
for you to tell them what to buy.
Okay.
Right. So, which is why Fridays I started doing the product emails, and I have Nicole doing that for me. Right. So she puts together a list of like a course, a workbook, a worksheet, and an audio file, and that gets sent every Friday. The
Okay.
intention is at some point, as the newsletter, as the list gets bigger, people will be like going, oh, I want that workbook. I didn't know I needed that workbook until you guys have shared with me that you had that workbook. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's only $9 or $9.90, whatever it might be, right? That's an easy price tag. Or the worksheet's only $4.99. That's an easy price tag. Right. So for you, it's like, oh, hey, just the last month I've been creating. This is my most recent. Here's my current bracelet. I only have one available. So first come, first serve, hop on it. It's going to go fast. This is a new, like a necklace and an earring. I actually did a set, right? So you can kind of like,
Okay.
what have you been creating that you're excited to share?
Okay.
And that's what you're sharing. You're sharing what you've created. It's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I learned this new technique and this is what I made from it. And then you have a buy now button,
Oh, okay.
right? Where they click on it and it takes them to your store where they can buy the product.
Okay.
So you're not telling them like, oh, you have to buy this. You're saying, I'm so excited about this necklace I made. I just love how the crystals, lay on the neckline, and you build up excitement around the product and the
Okay.
beauty of it. And then it's like, oh, I want that necklace. Oh, and
Gotcha.
by the way, this is where you can find me in person. Come stop by and say hi.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I will definitely try to flip
Yeah.
that around.
And be okay with it every other month,
Okay.
right? Again, set that realistic expectation. If you're going, I'm going to do
Mhm.
6 newsletters a month because it's product based now, sharing what I've made. You want to make sure you give yourself enough time to make the product,
Right, right.
right? That you can then profile in the newsletter.
Okay. That makes
So then
sense.
you're recording yourself creating the product, and you'll be like, going, this is going to be available to my newsletter people. Get on my newsletter list. It's not going to be available for purchase in the store. You can only buy it if you're on the newsletter list.
Mm, okay.
So you start to see how that kind of feeds into it. So now your
Yeah.
followers are seeing you online, showing what you're making, and it's only available on the email list. I'm already on your email list. So now I'm going to wait until I get my email and I'm going to go, there it is. I'm going to try and buy it. And if I'm not the first one, I'll be like, oh my God, how did I not get that? How somebody else already grabbed it. Right.
Right.
So you're building up anticipation through your reels and your stories and your posts. So then when the
Okay.
newsletter comes out, and if for some reason it doesn't sell on your through the newsletter,
Hmm.
then you can go to your Facebook and say, hey, so I have an extra one. You don't have to tell them it didn't sell.
Right,
I've
right.
made two. Here's another one. If anybody would like to grab this one,
Hmm.
right?
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely need to like, yeah, flip that whole like mindset.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because you have a product that's gorgeous. So you're not salesy. You're sharing your excitement,
Okay.
right?
Right, right. And I think that, and I do feel like that is more genuine to who I am because I love the stuff that I make. I wish I could keep it all myself and it would be
Yeah.
ridiculous to. But I mean, and there are a couple things I make that are not my favorites, but most of the time it's like, wow, I love how that turned out. And
Yeah. And that can be part of it, right? It's like, stay tuned. Is this a keeper or is it a giver, right? And so then you can be
okay.
polling people. People can be like going, oh my God, what is it? No, oh no, don't keep it. Don't keep it, sell it, right? And so you can kind of build up, well, I think I like this one
Okay.
so much I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to sell it.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So you can start playing those games with your followers to build excitement again, right? So
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. And and I have done little snippets like that where I will pull together when I pull together beads and stuff and it's like, okay, I have an idea in my head and I'll take a picture of that and then send it out on Facebook or whatever and say, this is what I'm starting with. What do you think it's going to look like? Or I'll send out like I've started it and, like here's the before picture and after. So I've done some of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay.
But this is where kind of having that kind of the plan in place, right? Like, it's like, okay, so we'll just use the first Monday of the month, right? So every other month, the first Monday is when your newsletter is going to go out. So you need to know then by Friday, you have all the pictures done for whatever products are going to be in the newsletter. And
Mhm.
then it's like, okay, is it on the store? Like, what are the pieces leading up to it? And when you have that kind of laid out, then you can say, okay, so I'm going to start making it the Tuesday after the newsletter for the
Mhm.
following newsletter, right? So that first Tuesday of the month is when I'm going to start making these 4 pieces, and you document it along the way to build excitement for when the newsletter goes out.
Okay.
That then all of a sudden people are going, they're sitting there with like bated breath going, okay, it's 8 weeks. It's going to take her 8 weeks to make 4 pieces. So I got to wait 8 weeks until I can buy that product.
Hmm.
So then my next question is, what's your scalability for your products? Because they're all one of a kind pieces right now, right?
Mostly, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So are you able to, so we'll just use a necklace as an example, right? So if you're able to create a necklace, can you make multiples at a time of the same necklace?
It depends. It depends on how much of the beads that I have ahead of time. Um, so right now, for the most part, I would say I could make one, maybe two, because I'm not purchasing the raw materials in bulk yet.
Okay.
So I only and mainly that's just due to money available. I'm, not gonna go out and put myself in debt just to have
Right.
a big stash.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really why, I'll only buy, like if I see something that I think, oh, that's gonna make a great bracelet, I'll only purchase like 5 of those focal beads,
Yeah.
and that's all I'll buy
Yeah.
for of those. And or if I see those, I'm like, oh, that would make a great bracelet plus matching earrings, then I would buy a couple more.
Right.
Um, but yeah, for the most part, and it depends on where those beads come from. Like if somebody, because I had sometimes I've gotten a special order before where they've asked for, I really love the bracelet that you have on your title page or on your business card. Can you make me one like that? And it's like I can't make that exact one because the focal piece came from a bead store down south, and I've contacted them and they don't have any more of those things or whatever. I
Right.
said, but I can make something similar. Um, but yeah, scaling it up would be something that I think eventually I would do, but
Okay.
there's just so many beautiful beads out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's what I was wondering, right? So, and that's the other thing. Like it's one, like all of them is one of a kind. So
Mhm.
so people are never gonna like walk up to somebody and go, "Oh, you bought that from Susan." Like they're already gonna know because of it's the exact same one, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's another piece of what's unique.
Okay,
So
right.
like it's okay, you're like the scalability isn't there as far as multiplying the number of necklaces. You just
Mhm.
want to reinforce that piece. Like when this is gone, it's gone. Like there is not another one,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? So that's one of the benefits because one of the pain points I think for women is I don't want to see the same jewelry on somebody else.
Right.
Like oh, you bought that at Target too,
Right.
right? Kind of thing, right? So or you went to Claire's. Look at that. We all went to Claire's and bought the same whatever, right? Like
Right.
I'm thinking of my 13-year-old daughter, right? Like they all go when they're at the mall. It's like, okay. So that's one of the pain points you're solving.
Right. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so you want to kind of beef that up, but that also comes through that hyping of, and then the key is to grow the list,
Mhm. Right. Right.
right? And by doing that, it's first time purchaser, as a new person on the newsletter, you're going to get a 15% coupon. Like you want to make
Right.
it really enticing,
Yeah.
right? So, and then, but once they use it, it's kind of done,
Right.
right? And so the other thing is you can also be saying, like every 6 months you do a random drawing to your from your newsletter people and you send them a free, you
Mm.
give them a choice of one of 3 pieces. And for you, it's kind of like a liquidation, right? It's like what pieces haven't sold in the last 6 months and you kind of randomly draw, and in the next newsletter you say, hey Karen, you were randomly drawn to receive a free gift. Please email me with your choice of one of the three. You throw and you show the images. And so
Okay.
the person goes, oh, I want that one. And they email you, go and say, oh, I want number two. I can't believe I won.
Mm.
Everybody else in the newsletter is like going, wait a minute. Okay. Right. So, and plus it's then you can talk to your accountant about how do you account for that gift, and there'll be a way you can do it.
Okay.
Right. So just check with your accountant on what that looks like for you. If you
Okay.
want to do like a thank you gift to somebody off your newsletter, twice a year. And it
Hmm.
can be, you can put it at a value of, for yourself. It's like, okay, what's on my, it's like a $10 value. They don't need to know that, right? You're just thinking of your
Right.
material costs, right? So it's kind of like,
Right.
okay, it cost me $10 to make, in raw materials. And
Hmm.
it's just sitting there, like you're not recouping anything. So you're kind of like, well, maybe this is one I can discount and give away,
Right.
and just get the whatever, however you need to account for it. But you can talk to your accountant about
Okay.
that. So see, we had way more to talk about.
Yeah. Just needed to get started. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So um yeah, like I think for your newsletter, there's a lot of value there for you and for them, right? Because
Hmm.
the reason they're on your newsletter is to get first dibs at new jewelry and to
Right.
get potentially discounts, surprise discounts.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. Um, but yeah, I was really beating myself up about I didn't get the newsletter out. And it's like, okay, I've made this, I was gonna do a monthly newsletter and now I've already messed it up in month 3.
Yeah.
And
So
that's hard. I mean, it's and when I sit down to work on it, it's just, it's I don't remember how long it takes anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, depending on how much, goes into it. And I like doing it. It was just it was something that had fallen, the out of sight, out of mind. I struggle with that a lot as well.
yeah, yeah,
And when I focus on something, it happens. But it was the how do I keep that priority list happening? So
right.
hopefully the Trello will help. I think it will.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me just see here. So okay. I'm gonna share. Um, so this is the email marketing calendar that Nicole and I share.
okay.
So we have it broken down by week, and all of these are the advice columns. So, and then this is a product listing. So she knows she can come in and pull the information. She
Hmm.
also knows there's now the live training links that we do. So she knows like we've color coded them if they're a free resource, if it's a workshop, et cetera, right? Or an interview. So
Okay.
she comes in here when she goes to do her newsletter, and the blue means they've been scheduled, right?
Okay.
So she can come in and say, all right, I'm going to do the newsletter. I can pull up the live training with the links and everything in the description. It's already been dropped in.
Oh, okay.
So for you, it could look like where it's um, events, right? 2024 events. And you basically put in the card, right? So you could put in the card that it's Midlands Farmer Market,
Hmm.
right? So then in there, you can have all under the description, everything that you want to put in the newsletter for the Midlands Farmer Market. with the link to the farmer market address, et cetera, right? So
Okay.
this becomes your resource pool. So when you go to do your newsletter, you're going, okay, the Midlands Farmer Market isn't until May, but I'm going to tell them about it in the March's newsletter because
Okay.
it's January and March, right? So because they start in May, I want to tell them in advance, hey, just we're 2 months out before the farmer's market. You've already got everything in there. So you
Okay.
have one column of all the events for the whole year.
Ah,
So that way, as you get a new event that you're going to be attending, you create a card out of it immediately.
right.
And then the same with you can have a column for each newsletter. So for you doing every other month, you would have 6 columns. And you would say January 2024 newsletter, April 2024 newsletter, right? And you kind of go through and you pre-set up the year. And then as you know what you're going to make for each one, you add a card. I'm going to be making this necklace, and you write a quick description.
Okay.
Okay, no, oh, I want to make that for June. I'm not going to have time in January, February to make it. So I'm going to drag and drop it under the June newsletter.
Mm. Yeah, I hadn't thought of using, like, putting the information right in the card to then just copy and paste that into the newsletter.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's
Okay.
where, yeah. So like I have, right. So the Facebook member funnel. So this is where Ariana and we manage the memberships, everybody that's in the Facebook group.
Mhm.
Right. And then the same with the women's small business support group I belong to, right? I'm allowed to post daily in there. So I have my 3-month marketing campaign every single day. What am I going to post? And is it an engagement? Is it not? These are the words that I'm not supposed to use because Facebook will be like, say, sayonara, like cut you off. So it's right. So I had March, April, May laid out.
Okay.
So, right. So you can tell like May 3rd, I didn't post. It's not green because that tells me I posted it. So I missed May 3rd. Oh, well. Right. I missed May 5th. Oh, well. Like I just kind of like, I'm only human. But my intention is
Right.
this is what I'm going to post every single day for those 3 months.
Okay.
So for your newsletter, yeah, UPS, Roxy, come here. No, you're fine. UPS guys like me dropping it off. Right. So you can be just putting the 6 columns, Roxy, come here. The 6 columns for your newsletter.
Hmm.
And then just
Okay.
drag and drop as you get clarity. And then you can even take the event under your events. You can like go, oh, I want that event in this newsletter. You can copy the card. You don't even have to drag and drop it.
Right.
So you have your master
Right.
events list. Then
Mm-hmm.
copy the card to the other list.
Okay.
The ring in the doorbell. Okay. Okay. They must need me for something. All right. So is that helpful?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So I can take my
Yeah, I
hand down
hadn't
now.
thought of that.
Oh yeah. Lower hand. Yeah, I want to lower my hand. I don't know. Like when I put my hand up, right? It's always like, oh yeah, lower hand. So okay, I know. Do we have to go and see who that is? Maybe it's not the UPS person. I don't know. So okay, so keep me posted
Okay.
and then add me to your email list.
Okay.
So it's the Be Bold at getbizsavvy.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be bold. Yeah, got
Okay, perfect. Alrighty.
it.
I don't have any text messages, so I don't know. I guess I better go and see who that is. So, all right, my dear.
good.
Thanks for jumping on, and then keep me
Yeah.
posted.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Have a great
Thanks.
day.
You
Yeah.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.